Is that was alright, yeah?
Yeah, so we're good, we're going. So I'll let you, do you want to bring it in?
Is everything spelled?
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's recording.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, we're back. Making Mastermind podcast, another special guest. We've got Matt Doyle.
How are you doing, guys?
How are you doing? Do you want to give us a bit of background, where you're from, where you grew up, and then we're just going to start diving into it.
Well, my name's Matt Doyle. I'm originally from Halifax. I'm 43. Background is, I work in fitness, I work in gyms.
Mm-hmm.
I spent years on the doors, that's how most people probably know me. I was a full-time doorman for 18 years in
Was that in Leeds?
Leeds,
Okay.
Bradford, Halifax, Manchester, Nottingham.
Been around.
Kind of went all over, yeah. Some good stories there. I've got a little girl. She's 15, so she's not so little. But yeah, and I've got a partner. We live in Batley now, and everything's good.
Well,
Yeah, do you know what? I didn't know you were a doorman. How's that earning a living on the doors? What's that like?
You've got your weekend guys who come out Saturday night who just extra cash, bit of fun, might want a bit of a fight, and then you've got your full-time guys that you know, I treat it like working in an office, trying to be professional the whole time, and you know, maintaining standards, and that's why I think a few of us are quite successful, earned a good living doing that. It was a good job. I couldn't go back to it now, I don't think. I think it's had its time. But yeah, I went all over the country doing it because the money was nice and I enjoyed it at the time.
Yeah, do you know, I probably don't have to ask you what the worst side of being a doorman is, but what's the best side? What's the good things about being a doorman? What did you enjoy?
Just the friends that you make on the door, and it's just such a good job. You can have such a good time amongst all the trouble, and you know, you can imagine
trust as well. You got to put.
Of course, yeah, and I suppose it's like being in the force as well. You know, once you've been through something bad with a group of people, you tend to know who's there for you and who's not, and met some good friends, and I'm still friends with a lot of people now. You know, if I get a call, I might go back and help out every now and again. I helped out about 6 months ago, but not for me. You know, it's too late. I should have been in bed for 9 o'clock.
I couldn't do it in the winter, mate.
It's
been freezing outside. I'd just be pissed off if it were cold.
I was always, there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad choice of clothing.
Yeah? That's a good saying.
If you've got the right stuff on. I mean, a few of us worked over at the warehouse project in Manchester, so it's right on the Salford Quays. It is cold. We were just dressed in salopettes, you know, we were nice and snug. We took some Oxo and stuff. It was okay.
There you go.
It was good, yeah.
There you go. So hand in hand with that, fitness, keeping in shape, you know, dealing with people physically sometimes if, you know, it comes to that. Yeah,
more so. Yeah, I think if you're dealing with things physically, you're kind of losing control, you know. You should always be able to talk your way out. There's certain things that you can't, that, you know, you have to use sort of force, but...
So, I guess sort of the physical side, keeping in shape, has that been something that's always been part of your life?
Yeah, I mean, because I trekked the doors, I was working, for example, like playing for a rugby team, I made sure I was fit, I made sure I was strong, because I kind of picked the guys around me that I'd pick in a team with me, you know, different guys for different positions, and I put the talkers and the cool guys around the front door and the beasts in the back, and unlock them when we had to.
Alright, so all the big ones are not at the front, just in case.
Unless they're really friendly.
Lesson to learn there, guy. Keep the big ones in the back. So yeah, fitness, growing up. What did it teach you about discipline getting into fitness? Like, how important has that routine been for you?
Very. I mean, I started with boxing, did Thai boxing, and kind of worked my way into bodybuilding. And I mean, the martial arts, the discipline through that, it's just, you know, even now, even though I don't do anything, I still think about it every day. And, you know, the discipline it taught, and just the respect, and the fact you can never judge a book by its cover. You just never know. So just be nice to everybody, because you never know.
Yeah, do you know what? That's
We
a
always
big
say
one.
it,
That
don't
comes
we?
up on the podcast a lot. Is don't judge people on how they look.
No, the ones that are barking and making lots of noise tend to be the ones you don't worry about.
Yeah.
Quiet guys.
Quiet guy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's it. So, you were recommended by Jerome.
Yes, good friend. Yeah.
Formerly Barbell Viking. I don't know if he's dropped all that name now, but
No, I think he's doing the muscle mechanic thing now. Amazing guy. Yeah, he works at the gym with me, and I listened to his story, and I thought I knew him until I listened to it, and it's amazing what he's been through. And yeah, a top guy. Really got a lot of time for him. And he buys me little presents. I don't know if you've seen on my Instagram. I've got a little unicorn cup. That was care of Jerome.
So how did you and Jerome meet then? What was that?
We met at Ultraflex at the gym in Normanton where we work. Jerome's sliding back into more of his PT role now, which he's so good at. I mean, I totally recommend him if anyone needs any work.
Yeah.
But his attention to detail, and he works around injuries, and he's not just someone who'll take the money and push you through a workout. He'll design a workout for each person each day, and I just think he's a cool guy.
Just lost connection. Wouldn't be a podcast if this didn't happen. So let's kick things off again.
My background is fitness. I work in a gym. I've worked in gyms for several years. I spent most of my time as an adult being a doorman. So I was a full-time doorman for a long time, about 18 years. And I've had other jobs working at Tesco's. I worked as a carer at a behavioural school for boys as well. So I've kind of had a few jobs.
yeah,
Cool.
there you go, man. It's do you know the Dorman one's always the funny one. We were saying when we were recording before, it must be a tricky job, challenging job, interesting job,
Yeah,
all wrapped in one.
I reckon you learn a lot about the world as well. Do you know, working that job, because you'll see all kinds of people from different faces of the
it's
world.
true. You don't really. You can't really see what's going on. You can be clever academically, but you don't really get that streetwise until you've done, say, a couple of years on the door and seen different people in different circumstances. I did love doing the job, and I loved the guys, and the teamwork and the camaraderie, and the money was good, which is why we work. And I was okay at it. I was quite good. I treat the job as an office job rather than something where I'd just go out on a Saturday night to have a bit of a scrap with someone. So I was professional, which meant I used to get asked by promoters or DJs to come and do their events, which ultimately took me from doing a door in Halifax to Bradford to full-time in Leeds to Manchester to Nottingham. So I've kind of been all over doing it. I don't fancy it anymore. I think it's had its day, but great memories. And some good friends who I'm still in touch with today.
Boom. So you've done a lot of sort of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
How did you get into bodybuilding? And
Well, originally I used to box. I boxed out of Huddersfield, and then I did Muay Thai out of MASTERMINDS camp in Huddersfield. And then I just started doing weightlifting because I was slowly going into door work in my early 20s, but I was a little guy, and so much of that job's about presence and not actually fighting. So I started to do more and more weight training, and then I turned into a bit of a pudding. So I thought, well, if I can refine this, and and that's what I did around 2007. And I first competed in 2008. Did a couple of shows, and then by 2010 I was doing quite well. I won a couple of shows, and 2011 I came runner-up in Mr UK, NABA, in the Class 1. So
wow. So along the side of that, what were you doing? So I guess it was out of being a doorman. Were you PTing? What?
I was at the time. Most of that time I was a doorman.
So you were still in the doors on the time.
And I was working part time as a carer in a school as well. So
how was that working in it?
Tough.
Keeping busy, night shifts, dieting.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, the school was hard work. The sleep was the worst thing. Sleep deprivation kills you. So I was going from working in a nightclub, say on a Saturday night, starting at 10 p.m. through till 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and then I was back up in school on Monday morning at 7 a.m.
Oof.
and I was back on the door Monday night, and that kind of continued day on, day off for a little while till I just had enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd hack it, to be honest. You know, bodybuilding always interests me. Not really the weight side. I think like all the weights is the weights, but the mindset you've got to have to diet and train.
Yeah,
There's a lot of planning and prepping that has to go into it, right?
Like, it's all preparation. Yeah, and just being organised and working hard. And most of that time that I was doing that, that's when I was originally diagnosed with the bowel disease as well. So that's another reason why I was probably struggling a little bit more than I thought I was, because I was just so tired and so fatigued from that.
Is that when you started picking up signs of I'm not right? I need to go to the doctor.
Well, initially the signs were there back in 2003, so that's when I initially went to the GP.
What are some of the early signs of bowel disease?
The first was fatigue. I was just absolutely shattered, and it didn't matter how much sleep you get, you're still tired. And then there was the distension and the pain around the abdominal area, so painful you couldn't touch it. And then obviously the bleeding from the back, and that was the red flag for me, where I thought I have to go, keep getting checked out because something's not right. And I'd done all the bodybuilding and all the door work and all the way through that, and then it was diagnosed in 2013, which is when I started the aggressive treatment. So they give you the chemo for the bowel disease straight away. If that doesn't work, then they don't hang about. They take the bowels out and give you a stoma bag. So by February 14, that's where I was. I'd had the stoma bag put on, kept training, kept trying to keep fit. Did a guest pose with the bag at one of the shows, which was just amazing. It was good fun.
Wow. Do you know, so to rewind a little bit, so before you've been diagnosed, so you're feeling tired, your body's changing, and you're losing weight as well throughout this time?
Yeah, the weight loss was probably the hardest thing to mentally deal with.
How did you sort of, whilst you were still doing shows and competing, accommodate for that? Were you eating more, and did you have to change your routine? Yeah,
well, the more you eat, the more you go to the loo. I really struggled with it. It was really hard. I was just dropping weight. There was a hospital admission I had in October 2015 through to March 2016, and in that period I lost 7 stone, 2 pounds, and that was a lean physique that went in. That wasn't watery, fat physique. I was ready to compete 2 days after I was admitted. I was competing on the Sunday, I got admitted on the Friday night, and stayed in for 6 months. I lost all that weight. I went from 17.2 down to 10 stone. Yeah. So that was tough.
Yeah. What's your mindset like when you get diagnosed after knowing something's really wrong for such a long time?
Well, there's kind of a relief.
Yeah.
That, okay, now we know what it is. Let's get it out. Let's deal with it. Before that, it was just all guesswork, and my best friend had passed away in 2009, and he had bowel and stomach cancer, so obviously that was in my mind. I'd lost my mum in 2012 to esophageal cancer, so again it's digestive tract. So that was in my mind, although I wasn't overly concerned about it. I thought, well, could it be? And so when it was diagnosed as bowel disease, I thought, okay, I think we can deal with this now.
Like, how did you even get your mind around that? Was there, and I don't want this to sound like the wrong way, was there any sort of, I guess, self-loathing in that, in terms of thinking, why me? And or did you have a lot of support around you that
yeah,
helped
so much support. The family just amazing. My dad, my stepmom, I've got 2 sisters and a brother, and everyone was there. There's certain times where you just don't want to see anybody, because I need to cope with this myself. I need to get it in my mind, and then I can deal with it, and then I'm okay to see people. So there were periods where I just needed a bit of space, just so I could come up with a plan. And once I did, I was fine. So I actually did the 6 months okay. It was when I was readmitted a week after the 6 months that things got hard, where I didn't cope very well.
So what was it like then, that week of going back home
from
the hospital?
Well, you think you're okay. I went straight back to work. I'd been laid up. I was well rested. So
So straight back in the action.
Oh, yeah, well, what they do is when you've been in hospital for quite a long time, you kind of institutionalise. So what they do is about a month before, when they think you can come home, they start letting you come home for a couple of hours each day. And I was getting fed through a line in my chest, what's called a TPN. So it's a way of getting nutrition into your body because you can't eat. It's so you can totally rest the bowels and just let them recover. So I'm getting fed through the night. I was waking up the next day, seeing the doctor, getting my drugs administered. Then they'd say, right, you can go home for a couple of hours, get used to home life and come back. So what I was doing is they didn't know my car was outside because I parked my car around the corner of the hospital and I drove to the gym. So the first day was just driving to the gym and going up the stairs. The next day was driving to the gym, going up the stairs and doing a set and slowly doing that and then going back to the hospital on a night to get my food. So it was... But I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to go home. I was bored.
So you started to sort of ease your way back into...
Yeah, I probably... I mean, maybe I shouldn't have done it, but I didn't know what else to do. I didn't make myself better. There were certain times where I was needing help to walk out of the gym. But mentally, I suppose, you know... So when I came out of hospital after the 6 months, I was already rolling. And then that week, and then that readmission, like I said, that was the tough one where I really struggled. I struggled mentally with that. That's when the first signs of getting help came up.
Why? What really triggered all the anxieties or the worry when you went back in? Was it like, I can't do another 6 months? Like, it can't be this. Or is this
I just thought
life forever?
This isn't a life. I thought this is a dog's life. I'm just a burden to everyone because everyone's able to finish work or come and see me, and I'm just in the way of everything. And it was quite calm. I think I'd come to the decision that possibly suicide might have been an answer. So I called my sister and I said, I'm really unhappy and I don't think this is what I want, and I think this is my plan. So from that day she managed to get me some help, and then every day from then for about a year I was getting intervention, and they were really good.
And do you know that help, was that local help from family or was that an external source?
That was Folly Hall in Huddersfield, the mental health department in Kirklees. They were coming to my house every day. I was probably more open with them than I was my family. I was quite honest with my sister, but again, you feel like such a burden. I didn't want to phone my dad and say, oh, I'm having a bad day, or you know, this is the thing, the people who are truly having a bad time, you probably can't tell because they're smiling, and the guy sat in the corner who's looking miserable he's probably okay. It's that guy behind him who's bouncing around. I'm more worried about him. So I tried to put a face on for everybody, and the help came, and they were good. I can't fault it. They were so good.
Why do you think people struggle to open up to people around them? You said it's like a burden.
Yeah,
it's a big thing. Like guys now, especially, like a kind of encourage, like talk more. But it's hard. It is hard.
It is hard, yeah.
Especially with like lad culture and you know what's out there. I've seen it from my own friends, and we talk about it all the time. To sit down and have a bit of a real conversation and truly say how you feel is quite rare.
Yeah, it is. I think it's getting better. I have friends now where I can talk open and they can talk to me as well. It's not all one way. Everyone's got things going on. I do think there are times where you have to learn to cope with this on your own, because when you are at your darkest point, you're on your own. You know, if you're at the point where you're considering suicide, you have to deal with that yourself, because you know, people say, well, you know, you give me a call if you're having a bad time. Oh no, probably I won't. I'm probably not going to pick up the phone and tell you that I'm stood on a wall about to kill myself, because I have to learn to come around that on my own and deal with that. And that's where the counselling came in. So the mindfulness exercises would come back. They train you to think about what you're just passing on your issues to your family and friends. My daughter, the chances of her doing anything to herself have increased by 50% because I've hurt myself. And when you stood there on the wall thinking like that, that's what, okay, this isn't right. I need to, and one of the things that got to me is I'd had so many people fix me and help keep me alive, and I just thought, why am I throwing that away? I should be fighting. I shouldn't, die hard. I'm not going out easy. I'm going to take some killing me.
I like that.
Yeah.
So that was my epiphany moment. And I'm not saying it doesn't go. I have bad days, but it's just that's what brings me back round. Is it can be worse. There's always somebody worse. And how are people going to feel if I did that? If it was the other way around, they wouldn't be a burden to me. I'd be there to help them.
Yeah. How much would you go and say to encourage people to go use something like Andy's Man Club, or like a space where you can go talk openly with people that you don't know, which maybe, as you said, is actually in a weird way a bit easier.
It can be easier. I think it's great. I think what the Andy Man Club does is amazing. It's just get out there. If guys are having trouble, it is hard to talk, but you can. If you're not comfortable, just give them a ring, send them a message. Just put your foot in the door somehow, and they'll get in touch. And it doesn't have to be the groups either. There could be a friend somewhere. The amount of people who come to me in the gym who talk to me, and they don't really know me. I know them, say hello to, and the things that people say to me, and I end up getting. I should get counselling money, and but that's okay. We're all happy to do it. If somebody's got an issue, come and talk.
Yeah. Sometimes people just need someone to listen. It's just saying it out loud makes the biggest difference. So did you find that when you had counselling, that actually saying something out loud, you kind of process it, you hear it back, and that's how you kind of work through it? How did it work? I'm always very interested to understand how it kind of works.
The thing is with the counselling, it was quite hard because every time you meet someone new, you have to explain your story from the start.
Oh, you don't have the same counsellor?
Not always.
Okay.
So on the daily intervention, I was getting different people, which after 6 months isn't an issue. We didn't even talk about mental health. They would just come and talk. Have you seen the rugby? Whatever. Have you watched this? I'm like, yeah. That's how it was. That's how they checked up on me. I can't remember what I was going to say.
When they were checking up on you, counselling, daily intervention, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So,
You found it useful then, like the chats and the talks and.
Yeah, it got hard at points because certain days, if I was on the toilet, for example, I didn't get to the door, they'd consider smashing the door in.
It's pretty funny.
So I was shouting, "I'm all right. I'm just on the loo," But they were so good, and I became friends with them as well. The people that came to see me every day, I still see them now. I still message them now. The nurse at the hospital, I still message them now.
So with having bowel disease and sort of rehabbing yourself, getting yourself back in shape, did you have to do a lot of reading, a lot of digging on the internet?
There wasn't that much there.
No.
We myself and my cousin did some training videos about training with a stoma bag because we couldn't find any information online. It was more just
trial and error kind of thing.
Get in there and try. Yeah, and that's how I got through each day. And don't take it day by day. It was a case of taking it hour by hour. So if I was having a bad hour, I could pull it back and have a good hour, and vice versa. It was if you rule out a day straight away from having a bad hour, that it's a long time.
That's it. I think I do it myself. It's so easy to just think, oh, the day's over. I didn't feel bad. Make yourself feel guilty for something that can be changing in the next hour. Have a total different view on.
Yeah, I mean, and my health would change hour by hour. So I could feel great. The next thing I'd be struggling, but then I'd feel better again. So just it's the same with the mental health or anything. Just hour by hour, just chip away.
So what have you realised? What's helped you the most then with mindfulness and basically keep being okay and being okay to deal with it? Is it exercise? Is it talking? Is it anything in between? So mindfulness apps or anything like that you've used to sort of.
I use music.
Music.
I've made God, so many playlists, and so I have a playlist for each mood.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm a bit too giddy, I need to calm down, I'll put something on. If I'm feeling that, if I want to sleep or just relax, I'll put something on. Walking's good, take my dog out. I think that's as good as anything. I go to the gym, I keep fit. I can't say I honestly read, but I might stick a film on, do something like that. And spend time with my partner and my daughter. That's the most important thing, really.
And
yeah.
One thing that we found, and Sophie mentioned this, was when she works with her clients, is teaching her clients to be grateful for the things that they already have in their life. So is gratitude, is that something you try to practice?
Not directly. I kind of think if something bad happens, I think, it can be worse. That's how I get through it. It can be worse.
So taking a higher view of it is...
Yeah, and if there's a problem, then my mum used to say this Buddhist saying, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but if a problem can be fixed, then don't worry about it. And if it can't be fixed, then why worry about it? And that's how I try and get through my day.
Yeah, I like that. Nice and
that's it. That's the big thing. I think it's for younger people, they just need to take stuff like that away, and like mental health is such a big thing. Like people seem to be more anxious than ever, and you're the perfect example of it. Like bad things happen to you, but it can pass, right?
How do you get on and move on from it?
How do you get on? How do you deal with it? Move on, little techniques. And it's like music for you is what you use. Sophie's was walking, that's similar to yours, but everything's different. And
I think the thing is everybody's got their own way as well. Like there's no universal answer to...
No, it's not like you can pick a book up and and say, well, that's how you do it. You just go out, and if I want to walk, I'll go for a walk. I might walk with listening to my music. Whatever you want to do, whatever works. I think just people get too involved in it, and I just think life's too short. Just chill out, just eliminate the people that are negative in your life. And I've done that. I got to a point where I cut off, and there were some people who were quite close to me that were cut off. So surround yourself with the right people, be comfortable with yourself, and just don't worry about things. Just get on.
And what drove that decision to start to say, I don't need this negativity around me? Like
it just builds up. You might not notice it straight away, but over a period of time, you think, I might walk in this house and I'm feeling down, and 2 minutes ago I was in a good mood. So what's made that happen? It might be that person that's made that happen. So if I cut that person out, what happens? I'm in a good mood. I stay in that good mood. So, and then it's not always sunshine and roses, it's not always great. But if you can do what you can to eliminate the negative people. So if I see something online, I don't like it, but
never do it.
Yeah, it's no big deal. See you later on.
Yeah, you don't have to get like emotionally involved with it. Just cut it off and
see you later.
And move on. Do you think that people struggle with that, to dwell on stuff that they don't like? And
totally now, especially on social media. Something can be on all day, and I just think, let it go. What's the point? What's gone past your window today while you've been looking at that? So much, just get on. And I don't I have no problem with social media, whatever you want to do. If you want to push your life on there, just do it. Just stay happy, stay positive, and delete those negative people.
Yeah. So that's what you found. You focusing on. So stuff you follow online is completely positive, like positive people.
Yeah.
Stuff you're interested in.
Yeah. If somebody does put something on that I don't like, that person goes. And it's not that I follow. I don't need it.
Yeah.
That's not for me. If you've ever seen my social media, it's just about dossing about and having a laugh. And I'm amazed to get away with the things I get away with, but that's all I want.
Yeah.
I just want to be silly and have a good time.
But that's it. Life's too short to not have a good time and not be around people you truly like enjoy being around.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what you're doing it for? Like at a point, you have to be selfish, I guess, right?
I think that's the thing.
Yourself.
I think, and Sophie mentioned that last week, that she's selfish. You've got to be, but if you're with the right people, they'll come with you anyway. My partner's amazing. She's so good, and she wasn't a gym person. She wasn't a fitness person, but we do that together now. We've altered our plans and we train together now. So I'm training with my best friend, and we have a laugh, you know, and we make it fun. And there was no pressure from me. I didn't want her to feel like she has to go to the gym. She can do whatever she wants to do. But that's my thing, and that was where I was being a little bit selfish, but life's too short to just do something that you don't want to do all the time. So yeah, I do go to the gym. It's no big deal. I don't go to the pub every night, and if you want to go to the pub every night, go to the pub every night. I don't care. Just do whatever you want. As long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't care.
That's it. How do you know with the gym though? Like your mindset sometimes has to be like you'll know, like you're not always motivated to go, right?
No.
So for someone out there wants to start going to the gym, start getting a bit fitter, and they're worried. Like the first week, they'll be buzzing for it. Then they get a bit sore. The second week, not too up for this, and then third week, oh fuck this. Like, I think. Like, how do you build that up, and what would you advise people?
It's about being consistent. But if you're going, if somebody takes you to the gym and a personal trainer makes you run for an hour and you hate running, you ain't going back. So do something you want for an hour. So if you like going on the stepper, or you like, I just want to train arms, just train. Do whatever you want. Build that consistency up, and then the more it becomes a routine. You know, most days I don't want to go to the gym, but it's part of my day. You know, I get up, I go to work, I finish work, I go home, walk the dog, I go to the gym. And it's not something that I can take out. And you know, if something else needs doing, I'll make time for it by making time for it. I go to bed an hour later. I don't miss the gym. I just find that, and once I've been, the way I feel afterwards, physically, I know it's good for me, and you know, mentally, I don't even have to, we all know how good it is. Again, there's so many people who go to the gym that have, I don't mean to say this in a way that's derogatory, but people who have mental health issues or anxiety issues or stress, and they automatically use the gym. They probably don't know they're doing it, but they do it, and then they leave and they're buzzing. If you could bottle that up and sell it, you'd be a billionaire, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you must see it the most, right? People dragging themselves in, looking like they just can't be fucked to do anything. And then they leave like in their high, like this.
Yeah, and it's the same when, I mean, I used to PT, I don't do it anymore, but I give people exercise and I don't like doing it. Well, why? Are you being soft? Or do you really not like it? Well, we'll do something else. Oh, I like doing that. Well, we'll do that. Because I know you're going to come back and do that again. If I give you an exercise that you hate, just because I just can't stand it, you know, you're not going to do this. If you don't like playing football, I make you go play football every week. You're not going to come back. So find a way that just makes you go back. Whatever, you don't have to run for an hour. You might just just get on a treadmill and walk for an hour, put some music on and chill out. Do whatever. I'm quite laid back.
Yeah, you really are. I didn't know what to expect when we booked you on. I remember when you obviously know Jerome better than we do, but when we first met him, like just to look at him is fucking intimidating. Like I was like, this guy could kill us if he wants to. He could murder us, like no problem, and we'd be fucked.
The thing is, he could be out there with a sniper rifle now.
It could be that bush. Just the red dots. And then breadsticks. Do you know, he was great, and he taught us a lot. And he's one of the first times we had a guy come on that looked so like physically impressive. That opened up so much about like I struggled with, you know, alcohol, mental health, depression, and we was like, fucking hell, like, everyone must deal with this.
And he's the sweetest guy.
He's a great guy.
You know, I can't think how people think, because I don't look at him and see tattoos, or I just see a cool guy, I just see my friend, and I forget that when people look at him for the first time, they might think, oh my God, he's covered, you know, and he's a big, scary guy. Then he talks about killing people, and you think, oh my God. And he's not. He's the guy that comes into work with gifts for us all every day. You know, he'll bring us a t-shirt, or bring me a cup, or, you know, he bought all of us cups the other week. He's just, you know, he don't have to. He's just such a nice guy. And I think he's in a good place at the moment. So it's important to have people like that, like Jerome, around me at the minute.
No, big shout out to Jerome on that one.
Yeah, thanks, Jerome. Yeah, it was class, and he recommended you, and we're really glad that he did. It's been class to sit here and to get into your life a bit more.
Well, one thing I want to ask is, so we've raising awareness around sort of bowel disease. You've talked about, you did a show. Can we sort of talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah,
the show that you did.
So
how did that opportunity come around?
Basically, I was laid in hospital. I'd had all the bowels moved. I'd had a stoma bag stuck on. I wasn't feeling the best. And for someone whose sport it was based on how I look, you stick a big bag that's filling up with poo on the front of your stomach, it changes how you feel about things. And I suppose I was worried about what people might think, and it takes some getting used to. They fall off, the burst, you know. You wake up in the night and you think, oh my God, it's split. And, you know, you might be in bed with your partner and they have to be ultra understanding. And, you know, Lisa she's just amazing. But I was laid in hospital and I thought, how can I get me going again? So I contacted the guys who run the Open Yorkshire Classic and I said, can I do a guest spot? Can you just give me 5 minutes? That way I can diet, of course you can, no problem. So 2014, that October, I went and did a guest pose. Big announcement. I came out from this smoke and I had the bag on, but I got in quite good shape as well. And I did this routine and they gave me this massive Mr. Inspirational award. And my friend gave me that, a guy called Moz Falstead, who's a Mr. Universe competitor, who also has bowel disease problems. So the day was amazing. My family were there, my friends were there. It was amazing. And when I'd done the 6 months in hospital, I did the same thing again. I said, can you give me another chance? Because it drives me to get out of bed in the morning. So I did it twice.
So do you know on that one, I want to ask, how important do you think it is for people to have like little goals that don't have to be nothing too crazy, but something to achieve to, something to work forward to?
I think it's really important. You know, when you're in the gym and you might have a client, I'll say, you know, what do you want to get in shape for? Oh, I don't know. Have you got a holiday? Yeah. Should we make that a goal? Yeah, we'll do that. I've got a wedding. And then, I've got a show I need to get ready for. Right, okay, game on. And I think that's, if you've got something to aim for, you work a little bit harder. It makes you go when you don't want to go. And about the gym, most of the time, 80% of the time, people don't want to go. But going when you don't want, that's what makes the difference. It's easy to train when you want to train. Go and train when you don't want to. That's when you'll improve as an athlete. Or whatever, you know, you want to do a 5k run or whatever, that's how you do it.
But I think, sticking to that is just transferable to everything, isn't it? There's so much shit you don't want to do in your life and you've got to do it.
Yeah.
Like, or you do or you don't, and it'll help you out if you...
We might go into the supermarket fun.
Yeah?
Oh,
How? Teach me.
Yeah, teach me.
I hate that shit.
Go to Aldi, go down the middle aisles, just try everything on that's there. Put everything in the trolley that's
all
there.
The mad stuff that
it drives her mad. I'll be wearing Winnie the Pooh hats. I'll put wellies on. You know, when we go down to the freezer bit, I'll give her a leg up and chuck her in. When I say it's good for me, not for her.
Alright, seeing what you get out of it now, right? Do you know what that's... I don't know if I could lob my girlfriend in the freezer. I'm thinking I'd fucking piss myself. But obviously,
don't blame me.
Try it.
I'm sorry.
So this new technique on the podcast is for mindset. It's honestly, let me try it.
I'm having a bad day. Hang on.
That's class. But do you know what? Life's what you make it, and I think that's the impression that I get from you. Like when you came in, like really soft spoken, big guy, beard, and I'm like, it doesn't. Your mannerism doesn't fit your fucking build at all. I'm like, oh, this guy's so nice. Like clear, like instantly, I was like, oh, nice guy. And,
thank you very much.
It was just nice to finally get you in. We've been talking for a little while, and
I was supposed to come on a few months ago, and that's when I was rushed back in and had my second stoma bag. That's why I couldn't make it in.
Yeah, pretty good excuse. Best excuse we've ever had.
That is a quality excuse. Yeah. So I don't know what I can say next time. I'll just have to come down.
Yeah, you can't get out of it now.
Do you know what? It'd be good to actually have you and Jerome on together. That'd actually be pretty fun.
That'd be good, yeah. I'd just let Jerome talk.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know if we're a bit...
But you guys have got some crazy stories together.
In there.
Yeah. I'll sit on his knee.
So if people want to find your page, they want to follow your journey, they want to find out more about you, where can they go?
Well, I'm on Instagram. It's Popeye Doyle HX. I'm on Facebook, just Matt Doyle. You can come down to the Ultraflex gym, just come and train and have a chat, have a cup of tea, whatever you want. And it's like, I'm not here to give people advice. I just tell my story and say, this is how it is, and if it helps, it helps. You know, that's all I want.
No, I like that just pure honesty with people, and it is what it is. hidden agenda, no nothing.
No,
just
there's no money making. There's nothing. You know, just want to raise awareness of bowel disease and mental health, and if we can make it better, then we will. I'm going to do some work with Sophie and that team. They give me the opportunity to maybe go and do some talks. And again, it's just me talking. It's not me giving advice. It's just me saying how I get on with life, and if it helps, it helps. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. I look forward to seeing your talks, seeing what you get up to with Sophie, and once that's kicked off, maybe get you guys back in. And
that'd be great. Yeah,
see what happens there. And you're always welcome to come.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for the patience on the cut off as well.
Nice, cool, man.
Thanks for opening up. Appreciate it.